Hi everyone, it's Our Daily Planet here, Monica and Miro, and today we are interviewing Danielle Leoni, who owns a restaurant in Phoenix, to talk with us about being a sustainable chef in today's day, particularly with the COVID epidemic. Let's dive in. Danielle, tell us about how the COVID-19 epidemic has impacted your restaurant and how you're making it during these really challenging times.
First, thanks for having me. It's a great privilege just to be able to speak on behalf of our restaurant community and to help people understand what it's like to be a restaurateur that cares about sustainability. It's unprecedented times. And right now for us, at my restaurant, the Breadfruit Rum Bar, we've been in downtown Phoenix for over a decade. So we were slated to celebrate our 12th year in May, but unfortunately, we only made it until March 19th. And I chuckle about it because I don't plan on being closed down forever. We just are temporarily closed because of the pandemic. We are experiencing exactly what everybody else in the industry is experiencing, this conundrum where we have to consider our health, our personal health and well-being, and the health and well-being of our community. For us at my restaurant, we decided to remain temporarily closed through this pandemic until we can see that the cases of COVID have declined. People always ask me when I'm going to reopen it, and it's this very hard answer because it's really based on what's happening in our community, and every community is quite different. However, I do know chefs that own restaurants, the one thing that we value the most is our community. Having said that, it's beyond just the people that come in and support us by eating and drinking. Community is big. Chefs touch the entire food system and the entire nation in ways that people perhaps don't consider. For me, not being open right now because of this pandemic is not just letting down my neighbors, but I'm also the place that people come to sell their chickens, right? Or the gentleman that takes the bus every Saturday with his 5-gallon bucket and squeegee to wash my windows for the past 10 years. He's not in business either because I'm not in business. So for me in this pandemic, it's been the most difficult time in my life to have to make this decision to cut ties with these people that I support and who have supported me for over a decade in the interest of us all being physically healthy, even though I know we're not financially healthy right now. It's been a tough, sobering decision, but it's where we rest right now.
I wanted to pivot and ask, one of the things that makes you stand out so much as a chef in your community is your use of sustainable seafood and your focus on sustainability in general. And I wanted to ask, can you tell us a bit about the James Beard Smart Catch program, which is a big part of your sustainability story and a program started in 2018 for chefs?
The James Beard Foundation founded the Smart Catch program, like you said, in 2018 as their effort to help more chefs understand what it means to buy sustainable seafood. It's the means for chefs to access sustainable seafood. So in a very friendly way, very interactive with a lot of guidance. The foundation has integrated that not just into the chef community, but it's a part of all the dinners that we serve at the Beard House. So the Beard Foundation really put their efforts behind helping chefs really realize that the responsibility they have is not just to plate up beautiful food, but our responsibility is much greater than that, and help us as chefs to realize that we're very powerful because we decide what hundreds of thousands of people eat. It's essential, it's accessible, and also helped us realize again that we play a pivotal role in the health of our oceans and our fisheries and really our economy.
Is sustainability something that's taught in culinary school? And if not, what are the avenues for young chefs to be exposed to sustainable sourcing and cooking practices?
I've always contemplated that too. We're talking about us as professionals. Part of the James Beard program was to help chefs who are far past culinary school to understand that they have this tremendous power if they source responsibly. We can really just sidestep that whole effort if we just started with our youth. This idea of sustainable sourcing at least be discussed in culinary schools, but what I have observed is that it's very old-fashioned. It's not quite up to the times where we are teaching our future culinarians basic technique, but we are lacking that connection of like, where did this fish actually come from, right? Why do we have to make sure that we're using it from its nose to its tail, just like we do land animals, right? So I don't see them really working with sustainable food necessarily across the board, but I'm seeing it and hearing it that culinary instructors are concerned about it. And because there are chefs like me across the nation that are very forward facing on social media and speak out often, more of our youth is asking for it. So just like you as a consumer walk up to that case in your grocery store and you're asking for something, we have our youth walking up to their culinary instructor and they're asking for it. And it's being heard up the chain, you know, little by little, more and more. Even though it's not integrated institutionally, what we can do as a community, what we've always done to our youth is being stewards, helping them and engaging with them in such a way that you bring that into their paradigm, that they even consider where a piece of fish or a seafood came from. It just has to become normal. And that's just about starting small conversations. And that really doesn't take much effort at all.
Danielle, tell us about what you're doing in the community now. Since your restaurant isn't open, how are you staying busy and how are you helping others?
Well, for us, the Breadfruit Rum Bar has been a platform for change in the guise of a really great Jamaican restaurant. So we're just continuing the work that we've always done. The door's not open for the regular public, but we have been working behind the scenes. For the past month, I have been in my kitchen working in partnership with World Central Kitchen and their local division called Frontline Foods in Phoenix to feed families in need. We received a grant from World Central Kitchen. The marching orders was, you have a budget of so much per person, do what you like. I said, okay, you don't want to say that to me. We turned it on its head, what this paradigm normally is for World Central Kitchen. And this is really exciting. Usually with World Central Kitchen, they feed people in crisis, which is amazing because they put food together on the spot for a tremendous amount of people. But for here in Phoenix, our crisis is this pandemic. And what I've seen is listening to like the pastor at my local church or listening to other people, organizations that I'm involved in, there's just a lot of families that are not doing well. So what I thought is, well, if I have this money to feed people in crisis, we thought if we can help families who are experiencing tough times, meaning they can't feed their families, maybe they're in transition, so they're in temporary housing so they don't experience homelessness. That's a lot of upheaval in everybody's life. The most amazing thing I think about food is that it's fun. That's what I wanted to do for these people is I wanted to bring them joy. I wanted to bring them the joy of food. So we made meal kits. So we didn't make food boxes. We took our entire budget and we bought 100% local Arizona goods. So produce or proteins, grain, everything. And it's not just local. Every bit of it was responsibly grown, raised, harvested, unequivocally, no exceptions about it. And we stayed under the budget. We prepared these meals 75% of the way through so the families can cook together and they could eat together. We put in all this literature as well so the families knew this is where your food came from, which is a local farmer. This is how you find it. This is what a farmer's market is. Here's how you use local transportation so you can get to your farmer's market. This is how you use SNAP. This is how you use double up bucks. This is where you get a plethora of food for a bargain because it's unlimited double up bucks right now. We adopted the same families every week for a month. We can reiterate this message, hoping that they learn it and they embrace it eventually. There's so many of us just regular people. We don't feel powerful. We're not terribly wealthy. Together, if we all spent, $5 on local responsible produce or whatnot, I mean, we can change the nation. So we put in a thank you card for them. And on the back of it, it read, today your okra and such came from these farms. Today your decision to eat this and take this to your family's table has changed their lives. And you can keep doing this every week by finding your local farmers at your local farmers market. And every box was hand delivered. No food lines, no food pantries, none of that. Treating people the way I think they deserve to be treated and hoping that love can translate into some subtle change, we'll see.
That's so incredible. Thank you so much for sharing that story. I really am inspired myself to go find something fresh in my refrigerator and cook it up right now. Thanks again, Danielle, for joining us today and for everything you're doing for your community in Phoenix. We really admire it and we'll look forward to talking to you again.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.